Our next guest is Steve Cooper of the Civilian Marksmanship Program, and he joins us now. How's it going?
Great, great. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. So for those who don't know, tell us what CMP is.
CMP is the Civilian Marksmanship Program, and we got going back in 1903 when Congress and Teddy Roosevelt, coming out of the Spanish-American War, felt that our marksmanship skills weren't the greatest, and they wanted to train people basically how to use the long arm and sidearms of the military at that point in time, which was a revolver and a 1903 Springfield rifle. So we've come a long way since then, but the marksmanship training is really at the core of what we do. And so at that point, we were an office of the Army, Secretary of the Army, and we still report to a degree to the Secretary of the Army in terms of our rifle sales, and I can get into that in a minute. But basically, we teach people firearm safety, and we hold competitions around the country, and we're partners with the NRA on holding the national matches here at Camp Barry.
Gotcha. So those competitions, like, what typically those competitions consist of? Is it a variation of different shooting skills, or is it? Yeah,
it's primarily bullseye shooting.
Okay.
So rifle bullseye shooting and pistol bullseye shooting, and we've got trophies. NRA's got their trophies as a partner with us in the national matches, and we have our own board trophies, what we call them, from the original board that put the CMP together back in 1903. And so between the two of us, NRA and CMP, we've been running the national matches here for well over 100 years at Camp Barry, and a few years prior to that at Seagirt in New Jersey.
Awesome. And so outside of that, what other programs do you guys offer?
Well, what really fuels us is the sale of rifles. And
okay.
That is surplus rifles from the military. So whether it be the 1903 Springfield, 1917 Enfield, World War I rifles, the 1903 03A3, the M1 Garand, which of course was the star of World War II, and then some other various rifles that have come out of pre-1953 era. And those are the rifles that we're allowed to sell to the public. The Army makes them available to the CMP, and we sell them to the general public if they meet certain criteria: background checks, American citizenship, need to belong to a CMP-affiliated club, and you have to have had some sort of marksmanship training that allows you to buy a rifle from our program.
Really?
And so we're a nonprofit organization that has done pretty well over the years with the sale of surplus rifles from the Army.
So we're still getting a constant surplus of those specific types of rifles on an annual basis?
Yeah, there were many rifles that the U.S. loaned out to other countries during World War II and during the Cold War era. And some of those rifles haven't come back to the U.S., but it's less expensive for the Army to make those rifles available to the American public rather than to destroy them all, because all the serial numbers have to be tracked. And so we do all that tracking for them, and we make sure that anything that we receive back in the U.S. from the Army, we track and make. If they're saleable, we can make them for sale to the general public. And the extra parts that we can't use, we will then assemble future rifles with. So it's a pretty neat operation.
So like, let's say I'm an individual who's interested in buying a particular. Well, first, let me ask you this: what tends to be the most popular rifle that you guys sell?
The M1 Garand rifle is the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
You know, it's the one from Saving Private Ryan, the gun that goes ping after you fire 8 rounds. And
the one that actually uses a clip, you mean?
It actually uses a clip, not a magazine, but a clip.
Clip, yeah.
And so those have certainly been the most popular. And but we've also handled the M1 carbines, which is it's very small. It's not the same rifle as the M1 Garand, but it's a carbine rifle that paratroopers and officers used in World War II, and that's extremely popular as well.
If I remember that one was the 30 caliber, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
yep.
Those
30 caliber carbine,
small size, big impact.
Yeah, close up anyway. It's what we consider kind of it's a glorified pistol.
Yeah, gotcha.
We shoot matches with them, but at 100 yards, but it's a turkey shoot.
So like it's interesting to me because so you with like say for instance with the competitions and you're shooting these M1, so you're shooting M1 Garands in these bullseye competitions, correct?
Yep. Yep. We have we have our what we call our games matches where we shoot M1 Garands and we shoot the old Springfields, the bolt action guns, and then we have a foreign military class, bolt guns and those sorts of things, and then we have a modern military class. So those were all shot at 200 yards, same course of fire for all those guns, and so they're great to see out there on the line, guys cranking away at them.
Yeah.
And then we also have service rifle classes that we shoot similar to what NRA shoots in their high power matches. So that's a different category of matches that we shoot as well. So it's a mixture of old and new.
So how much of a variation have you seen in terms of skill set is involved in shooting?
What really came to light for us, we have a marksmanship park down in Talladega, Alabama. It's a 500-acre park, and we've got all electronic targets there. We found out very quickly how poor many of the American shooters are. They're certainly our elite class of shooters.
Yeah.
But the general guy off the street, when you get him behind the gun, you ask him to shoot at 200, 300, or 600 yards. We find out very quickly how much they're not on target.
Gotcha.
The electronic targets have a way of calling that stuff out. So, we still have a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of marksmanship training to do.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Admittedly, I'm probably gonna be one of those guys. You put M1 Garand in my hand, I'm probably gonna ask you what do you want me to do with this?
I think Americans have done a great job with suppressive fire in other wars. We send a lot of rounds downrange, and they're not necessarily accurate, but they're very effective.
I'm pretty sure there's a group of Marines right now who are ready to tear your head off.
Hey, we love the Marines. The Marines do a great job. In fact, the Marine shooting teams come and shoot at Talladega, and they shoot in our matches as well, and we love those guys. Well, who I'm talking about are the people that really need to spend a little bit more time at the range and practice their skills.
I'm scared.
And so our military does a pretty good job, although, the Army could bone up a little bit. The Army Marksmanship Unit does a pretty good job, but, they're kind of trained to do that stuff. Yeah. They have a special unit that does nothing but target shoot. So the Marines, they come out and they shoot, but they've got to rotate back into service, and after they do their stint on the team, they go defend the nation. So we're really grateful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
but it's your Joe Saturday afternoon hasn't picked up a gun in a few months, comes out and he shoots a match, and he needs some help getting on target once in a while. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. I think it's awesome that there's still, establishing the fundamentals of marksmanship. I came up in the gun industry during the age of the red dot. Like basically any and every accessory you could possibly have to help you be a fake good shooter. I had it at my disposal. So I wouldn't be surprised if I picked up an M1 Garand and realized that my fundamentals were a little bit less than subpar.
It's kind of coming full circle because we've started introducing optics into our matches, and so we're not putting optics on M1 Garands, but in our service rifle and modern military rifle matches, we're putting optics on guns. And that's what guys are getting trained with in the military these days. They're not using the old iron sights.
Yeah.
So what's cool is we've got people that are really good with iron sights, and then we've got younger people that are pretty good with optics. So it's a nice mix, really.
Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, the idea of combining the old and the new is always going to be a good thing in my book. I don't think one could exist without the other one. They both need each other to survive in many ways. Now, so say I'm someone looking to purchase an M1 Garand. First and foremost, price-wise, is there going to be a lot of variation in pricing, or is it pretty constant? And then, if so, around what price point are we talking? Well,
I think right now for a good M1 rifle with some reconditioned parts for about $830 is a good entry point, and that's a brand new barrel with new wood, and then all the other USGI parts in the rifle are good. But if you want an authentic M1 rifle that's come off a battlefield, now you're talking about more collectability and not necessarily a great shooter, but now you're talking more like $1,200, $1,500. and we have an auction site for those guns that are just very rare, and they can bring $20,000-$30,000. Now it's not frequent, but
now what
you start matching numbers and excellent condition, and or maybe it's got some provenance. It was held by a certain soldier or whatever. These things all have their own personal history.
Yeah.
They can bring big dollars as well. But in general, between $800 and $1,500, you can get pretty much anything that you want, whether you want one that's beaten up a little bit but still shoots, whether you're a collector, a historian, a shooter, or you just want to have some fun. There's one out there for you.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I haven't quite made it into that realm. I do see that in my future, though, to be honest with you. Probably sooner than later. But
we'd love to have you out to Camp Perry or to CMP Talladega. We'll take care of you.
Yeah, no cameras though, because I'm not embarrassing myself on camera shooting them. No, I'm joking. But thank you very much, Steve. It was an absolute pleasure. I love the work that you guys are doing and continue to sharpen up our skills. And you definitely have a good one.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right.
So you can learn all you can about CMP at thecmp.org. And when we come back, AWR Hawkins gets some inside info on leading anti-gun group.